Definitely, making sure you're researching the market, not just knowing what sales comps are, knowing what litigation may negatively affect owners.
What's the number one secret to becoming a multifamily broker expert?
Call, lots of calls. I mean, here in LA, I'm not, here in LA, call pickup rates are low, so it's just really making a lot of calls. Following up, consistency. I think that's really what it is. And I mean, and definitely, making sure you're researching the market, not just knowing what sales comps are, knowing what litigation may negatively affect owners. Here in LA, we got the SB 679, which is considered the mansion tax, which will add an additional tax to real estate transactions. And you have a lot of other limiting regulations that control the way real estate investors are able to manage their properties, particularly multifamily, with the eviction moratorium, which is ongoing in Los Angeles for almost 3 years. We're finally getting a sunset on it come December 31st. So it's really just being informed about any changes to litigation that affects the way owner operators in the LA are able to manage their properties.
Yeah, and that's a tricky. LA is a tough market, especially for multifamily. I mean, from what I've seen, cap rates are super compressed, right? You have some really tough like tenant landlord laws that are really favored towards the tenant. How are you navigating this landscaping, especially now that rates are rising and sometimes um, they're higher than some of the cap rates that you'd be getting on the property. So how are you navigating this current economic landscape?
Well, to be clear, it's challenging with it can be challenging with smaller assets for sure, because there's more limited opportunities to add value. On larger assets. We're still seeing a great deal of demand. And it just really depends on the sophistication of the owner operator. Traditionally, some of the more savvy operators do tenant buyouts, so they're able to create vacancy because unfortunately that's the primary area where you have opportunity to raise rents to market rate. Um, so that's that's where some of the more sophisticated operators we're seeing are taking advantage of.
So they're doing a cash for keys to vacate the property, and then from there doing their value adds and raising rents to you know market value.
That's correct.
Okay, um, and you're saying that demand for the larger assets are still relatively high, but for the smaller ones, so where's that threshold? Where's that threshold of nah, this
Well,
doesn't really make too much sense?
yeah. So in Los Angeles, larger assets, depending on the submarket, can be anywhere north of 10 units. And I think there is still strong for smaller assets as well. The issue is, there's more of a price concession traditionally for smaller assets, with rising interest rates. Being able to make a deal pencil before with a 4% interest rate versus having to accomplish that same underwriting requires a significant discount in price. Now the interest rates are approaching six, or at six in the residential market. So it's just really, I think we're seeing more of a price discount definitely on smaller assets. On the larger assets, not as much. Um, Primarily in demand has really been high in the non-local rent control markets. So that would be South Los Angeles County, Orange County, anything that was in Los Angeles proper that was built post 1979. We're seeing a high demand there. The obstacle with the last one is that there's not that much inventory built post 1979 that actually hits the market. Traditionally, those are longer term hold assets here.
Gotcha.